Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to look at a few markets including the US E-minis and the DAX for the European traders among you using the new MTPredictor version 7. This is in our beta testing at the moment here, so this is what I'm using for this video. But first I want to go through the US E-minis and show, well, basically follow up what we're talking about in our training webinar for customers, for MTPredictor customers yesterday. As you can see on the ES, this is yesterday. ES was basically flat, doing nothing, and then had a decline later in the day. Same for most of other markets. There was a TS1 buy setup here on the YM, and I'll come and take a look at that in a moment. Basically the markets were pretty flat yesterday before declining yesterday into the close. So the first question is there any or was there any indication that the markets wouldn't rally any further after the initial or the rally late on Friday? In other words, was there an indication that the markets were probably going to make a top and if anything decline? Well, there was, and for this yesterday we looked at the 15-minute charts, and this is what we always do. We look at the higher time frame. So if I look at a 15-minute chart and I scroll it back to before yesterday even opened, you can see that we had a major swing high here. Now what we can do in MTPredictor is we can project out in the future support or resistance zones, and for this we use our decision point tool. We just click on a bar and then click on decision point, and as you can see it places a level on your chart which is there in advance. Now the interesting thing yesterday, and this is what I was talking about in the training webinar yesterday, is as the market opened yesterday, can you see what happened? If I zoom in a bit, let's put the session times on. So this here is all yesterday. So what happened was the market gapped up, or well, didn't really gap up, just went up a little bit on the open and then basically moved sideways all day and then declined at the end of the day. So as I said in the webinar, it was absolutely no surprise that the market didn't carry on rallying yesterday because we were in this resistance area. And because we're in this resistance area, if anything, we should not be looking for long trades, we should be looking for short trades. Let's have a look at the YM, and exactly the same. There's our decision point resistance from that last major pivot, and as you can see the YM came up into that level there and caught that high absolutely beautifully. So the question being is, for the advanced MTPredictor users among you, knowing that the 15-minute charts or the larger degree trend was actually hitting large degree resistance, what would you want to do about any buy setups? Well, I've already given you a clue a couple of minutes ago, in that if you're at large degree resistance then you want to be looking for sell setups. So even though our STF color is blue here, we know that this is like any other indicator, it can be lagging. So for advanced traders, we don't just follow the STF color, we look at our large degree trend. So the point being is that as the 15-minute YM was up in this 15-minute resistance, when you had any buy setups, you either want to avoid them totally or manage them more aggressively. And what do I mean by that? Well, as you can see here, this didn't quite reach its first target, so at the very least, once you got up into these levels here, you want to be having your stop at break even. So this trade would have been stopped out for a 0 rather than a -1R loss. So this is a very good example of how to use the larger degree trend, in other words the DPs that are on our charts in advance. Again, that's the key, is that these are leading indicators, they're on the chart in advance. This gave us advance warning that there was going to be resistance on the US E-minis in this level here yesterday. Therefore you could use that to help avoid buy setups, or if you did take the buy setup, to manage it more aggressively. That would have helped avoid an otherwise losing trade. So that's a good example there of how to use the large degree trend to help increase your trades or make your trades better on the shorter term charts. Just a quick to show you, in version 7 we have a very neat scanner here that will actually follow as many markets and time frames as you wish, and once you've actually if there's a setup come in, the markets aren't open at the moment, that's why there's no trade setups here, but once a setup comes in here you can load a chart really easily by just literally right mouse click, do a new chart, and there you can see on that 15-minute Russell Index chart it's drawn immediately, and you can do really nice things by moving the charts around like that, so you can have your scanner sitting beside any of the charts you wish. So there's loads of neat things you can do in version 7 to make your trading day that much easier and a lot more organized. There were some other good trades on other markets. For example, if I go to Europe, we were looking at a 5-minute chart of the DAX yesterday, and in particular, sorry, I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and in particular, sorry, these particular trades here. In this example, the market had gone up, STF was blue, therefore large degree trend was up. This particular TS2 setup here would have actually been filled there and then would have come down and stopped you out for a -1 hour loss. This is important that you understand that losses can and always will unfold. Every professional trader will always know that trades will, or some trades, or will always end up as -1 hour losses. Now the trick to professional trading is not trying to avoid them, but it's keeping the losses small, and we do this by using correct position sizing. So in this case we actually keep the losses small and under control by using correct position sizing. Then when we come in for this second trade set up here, you can see that the trade came in here very nicely, tagged this low, market went up to the first target, our STF is weak, therefore we'd come out at our first target, and as you can see that nailed the high very nicely. But the important point is that the profit here was plus 7.4R. In other words, 7.4 times the initial risk. And that's the important point, is when the profits come through, they're large in relation to the losses, and the losses are kept small at -1R. So that's a good example of using position sizing there to keep your losses small when they come through and keep your profits large when they come through as well. So a very good example there, and a very nice trade on the 5-minute DAX long from that corrective low there. So anyway, that's really what I wanted to talk about today. The main thing was how to use the larger degree trend, in this case the 15-minute chart on the USE minis, to project in advance our decision point, support or resistance zones. Then once you know those and have those on your chart, you can then use those to help orient your trade in the correct direction, in this case down. So if you get any automatic buy setups, it can help you avoid an otherwise losing trade. So a good example of how to use the larger degree trend to help you in your shorter term trading.